Good afternoon. I'm Vernon Chavis, CDL Program Manager here at Northeastern Tech in Sherall. We're going to go over the modernized edition of the CDL test. This is going to start off with the end cab. The examiner has to give the student a checklist, and they have to do exactly the checklist. They don't have to add to it or anything like that. The instructions say describe exactly what's on the checklist. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over what you have to do and what you have to say. So first of all, we're starting off with the end cab. We're going to start the engine up. I'm going to put on safety belts. You don't have to describe it, but you need to put on your seat belt. Okay, we're going to start the truck up so we can build the air up. Now, checklist says to start off with the air, but we're going to build the air up first. So while it builds up, we're going to drop down on the list. You do not have to go by the list. You can skip around. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with lighting indicators. First of all, we're going to check our lighting indicators. I have a left turn signal. I have a right turn signal. I have a high beam indicator. And I have four-way flasher indicators. They work properly. Emergency equipment, fire extinguisher is properly charged, properly mounted secure. I have extra electrical fuses in the glove box, and I have reflective triangles under the bump. They're properly mounted secure. Then we have the windshield and our traffic monitoring devices. Our windshield is clean, clear, not cracked and broken, and no illegal stickers that'll impede my vision. The traffic monitoring devices, they're the mirrors and cameras, and they are adjusted from the inside of the cab. And the traffic monitoring devices, they're properly mounted secure and they work properly. Now our windshield wipers, they work. They're not bent, cracked, or damaged. They're properly mounted secure. The wiper blade fits snug to the windshield. It isn't dry rotted or cracked. The washer works properly. Now we have our heater defroster. Okay, our heat works. Our defroster works properly. Let's see, now we have our electric horn. We have our air horn. Now we have, we're going to do our parking brake and trailer brake, what we call our tug test. We'll put it in the lowest gear, and grinding don't count. We're going to release our tractor brake and check our trailer. Make sure the brakes are whole. All we do is pull against it to show that they're working. Now we're going to release the trailer brake, make sure the tractor brake's hold. That's all you have to do. Now, we're going to do our 5 mile per hour, our service brake. You release the brakes, you put it in the lowest gear. The examiner doesn't want to be jerked around, so you explain it. You release the brakes, put it in the lowest gear, run 5 miles per hour, at least 5 miles per hour. Slam on the brake, not necessarily slam, but jam on the brake. Release the wheel, make sure the wheel doesn't turn in either direction while coming to a complete stop. All right. Now we'll bring our air pressure up to air governor cutoff, which is, it operates between 120 and 140 pounds. And when it gets to maximum amount, you'll hear it sneeze. It takes a minute, so don't worry about that. Just let it run till it pops off. That was the sneeze. That's where it meets maximum pressure. And the air governor went off at about 130 pounds. Now what we'll do, we'll put it in the lowest gear so it don't roll. We're gonna do our leak down check. We have the brakes released, so the whole system's charged. We're gonna switch it on. I have an ABS light, a warning light that comes on and goes off. Now we've released the brakes, we got it in gear. We're gonna do our 4-pound in 60-second test. We're gonna apply the brakes. We're gonna hold it for a minute to make sure we don't have any leaks. All right, our brakes, our air is about 125 pounds. So we're gonna start. So we'll hold it for a minute and we can watch the needle and see if it leaks down. It can leak, but it can't leak more than 4 pounds. If it leaks more than 4 pounds, the test is marked as incomplete. The truck has to go in the shop and get repaired so we don't have any leaks. Just for test time, we're not going to do the full 60 seconds, but you will with the examiner. You'll do 60 seconds and you ask him to time you and he'll time you. When he counts off, that's a minute. Okay, it worked properly, we have no leaks. Now the second part of the brake test is to cut your warning lights on and the audible buzzer. You bleed your brakes down until it gets the buzzer cuts on before 55 pounds. Okay, you hear the buzzing, you got your light on. And now we're gonna bleed it down and make these air buttons pop out. These protection valves, they work a 2-stage system. When the air leaks down, it's got spring brakes on it, and the spring will take over and pop the brakes out and lock the whole truck down. So we'll bleed it down till they pop out, and they'll pop out somewhere between 20 pounds and 45 pounds of pressure. I believe both of them popped out. So we're done with the end cap. Now, on this air leak check, this 4-part, be sure you do it right. If you catch yourself, if you didn't switch it back on so that the air buzzer will come on the dash, tell the examiner you made a mistake, you need to start over. You're entitled to 1 restart, but you've got to catch it. If the examiner has to tell you messed up, it's automatic failure. So pay attention to what you do. Before you tell him you're done with the end cap, go over your list, make sure you got everything. This is what it's for. It's a checklist. Take this thing and check off as you go, because I have guys that'll try to remember it and they'll skip it. They won't check it off. If you check it off, you can't go wrong. If you try to remember what all you did, like I just did, because I don't have an ink pen, and I meant to bring one, but check this thing off and use it. This is given to you by the DOT, Department of Transportation, to help you do this test, and it says to describe what is on this checklist. It's not a cheat sheet, but it's as good as a cheat sheet, so use it. Now the next part, we've done with the end cap, is lighting check. Tell your examiner, ask him to get out, check your lights. He's gonna say what lights you wanna check. We wanna check all our lights. We check headlights, high beams, low beams. We check turn signals, right and left. We check 4-way flashers. We check our marker lights on the cab, our marker lights on the trailer. We check tail lights, brake lights, turn signals, and 4-way flashers on the back of the cab and the trailer. Be sure to tell him both cab and trailer so you'll get all your light credits on your score sheet. If you tell him just go check lights at the back of the trailer, he's gonna check them, but you won't get lights for your tractor. Be sure you get all your credits. So that's what we would do. Would you get out, check my lights, please? And once you get done with that, he checks your lights, you'll get out and go to the front of the cab. When you get out, be sure you take the keys with you. Show him you've got the keys, put them in your pocket when you get out front. Okay, now that we're at the front of the truck, we see the truck sitting level. so there's no suspension problems, no flat tire, no bad springs, no shifted load. There's no puddles, no water, no oil, anything underneath, so undoubtedly we have no leaks on the truck vehicle. Now we have all our lenses. They're not bent, cracked, or damaged. They're not broken, all are properly mounted secure, and they're all the proper color. Now we'll go under the hood. Okay, now that we're under the hood, first thing we're gonna check are our fluid levels. We got coolant, we got power steering, we got our oil. Okay, we have reservoirs, they're at adequate levels. We check them. They're properly mounted secure, they're not bent, cracked, or damaged, and all the caps are on tight. The dipstick, we check the oil level, we pull it out, we wipe it off, we reinsert it, pull it back out, and it has to be above the add mark. And the only way you can check these fluid levels for proper amount is for the engine to be off. Okay, we'll have all these hoses. There none of them are no abrasions, bulging cuts, properly mounted secure, and there are no leaks. All your fluids, all your air lines, all these, they appear to have no leaks. We have no puddles anywhere around on the truck. The steering system, we have a steering box. It has a liquid in it, so it can't leak. We got steering hoses, power steering hoses. They can't leak. They're properly mounted secure, no abrasions, bulging cuts. This is our steering linkage. We have a pitman arm, a drag link, and a tie rod in. They're properly mounted secure. They're not bent, cracked, or damaged. They're bolted on with castle nuts and cotter pins. Then we go to our suspension. We have our leaf springs. They're not bent, cracked, or shifted. They bolt on at both ends with mounts. The mounts aren't bent, cracked, or damaged. The bolts are present tight, and the bushings are good. They bolt onto the axle with U-bolts, and these U-bolts are present and tight, and they're not bent, cracked, or damaged. Then we have a shock. It's a hydraulic shock. It bolts on at both ends. It's properly mounted secure, and it's not leaking. From there, we go to our brake line. No abrasions, bulging cuts. Bolts on at both ends properly, and it doesn't leak. Then we go to our brakes. Our brakes, they do not have any contaminants such as grease or oil on them. From there, we go to our tires. There are no abrasions, bulging cuts on the tire. They're mounted properly on the wheel. They're evenly worn with a tread depth of no less than 4/32 on the steers and no less than 2/32 on the drive axles and the trailer tires. Okay, we got to be at proper inflation. We check that with our tire gauge at the valve stem. We check our tread depth with a tread depth gauge. All right, we have our lugs. Touch all your lugs and describe them. The lugs, they're not loose. They're properly mounted secure. If they were loose, you would notice rust trails or shiny threads on the studs. The lug holes in the wheel can't be oblong or distorted. The wheel can't be bent, cracked, or damaged, and it can't have any illegal welds or anything. If it's got a crack or anything in the wheel, you can't fix it. You got to throw the wheel away. Okay, now to the side of the vehicle. We have lenses and reflectors. All our lenses and reflectors, they're all properly mounted secure, not cracked or damaged, and all are not peeling. We have DOT reflector tape on the side of the truck. Our traffic monitoring devices, they're properly mounted secure and they work properly. Okay, under here is our batteries. Our batteries are properly mounted secure. The cables are on properly. They're tight, they're not loose, they're not corroded, and they're not splashed or frayed in any way. This is our DEF tank. This is our fuel tank. The caps are on tight. They're not leaking any lines or hoses. They're properly mounted secure. Then we come down to the back of the tractor. We have our air lines and electrical lines. There are no abrasions, bulging cuts. They're not leaking. They bolt to the tractor, but hook to the trailer with glad hands. The glad hands have seals in them, rubber seals, and they don't leak. Then you have a power cord that hooks on with a safety latch so it doesn't just accidentally pull out. It plugs in the back of the tractor the same way, but the airlines, they bolt onto the tractor. They're not tangled, they're not dragging on the frame, they're at the proper height. They're not tangled at all. Okay, now we have our frame. We have a frame for the tractor and one for the trailer. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. It's not bent, cracked, or damaged. There are no holes in it, in the frame at all. It can't have any welds or anything, repairs on it. The trailer floor and the cross members are present and tied underneath the trailer, and there's no holes in it. Okay, that's your framework. The cables, we did the cables, electrical lines. Now we're here at the fifth wheel. The fifth wheel's where it connects. The fifth wheel, the apron of the trailer, the bottom of the trailer is the apron. It sits on the fifth wheel. There's no gap in there. If there's a gap, it's not hooked properly. The locking jaws inside the fifth wheel lock properly around the kingpin of the trailer. And it's not loose or worn. All your locking pins in the framework and your release handle, they're locked in the proper position. On the fifth wheel and on the sliding tandem, you have release handles and locking pins. All that is locked in the proper position. Okay. Now, once again on the trailer, our lenses and reflectors, these reflector tape, it's not peeling, not damaged. And our lenses, they're properly mounted, secure, proper color. We have a landing gear. It's raised all the way up to the proper height so it doesn't drag anything. All bolts are present and tight. It is not bent, cracked, or damaged. And our crank handle is in the lock position. There's enough clearance between the trailer landing gear and the rear of the tractor so you have enough clearance so when you turn on a 90-degree angle, these landing gears and the tires won't reach back and hit the trailer. We have our lenses. We got tail lights, turn signals, four-way flashers. We got marker lights, clearance lights up at the top. They're proper color, properly mounted, secure. We got a reflector tape on the bumper and on the back doors. It's not peeling, it's not damaged or anything.